Time now on the couch to talk to someone all the way in the UK. Her name is Jean Harrod, and Jean has written a book called Deadly Diplomacy. Hello, Jean. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you, from a very cold UK.
Now, what are you doing over there, or do you live in the UK?
I'm living in the UK at the moment. I worked as a diplomat for many years, and now I'm back in the UK for a while, and I've started a new career as an author.
And what made you go into writing? Are the stories factual or they're all fiction?
Well, the stories are all fiction. I've been writing a series of crime novels. I absolutely love crime. It's something that I've read since I was a child, and I thought one day I'm going to write a series of crime novels on my experiences as a diplomat. And so the first one is Deadly Diplomacy.
Now, I would have thought, Jean, after all the years, how many years did you say you worked as a diplomat?
Oh, about 30.
And you didn't get tired of it, crime? You actually quite enjoy it and wanted to carry it on as an author. Well, a lot of
Well...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was a diplomat, so I wasn't actually involved in a lot of crime.
No.
But was once...
Well, I'm glad you weren't, Jean. That's probably the best thing you can write about it. It's a lot safer. Because when we started the interview, you did actually say you love crime. So I thought, well, they always still say that crime doesn't pay, but obviously writing the book about crime will pay, we hope. Tell me about the book, Deadly Diplomacy. What can we expect to read in it?
Well, I spent a lot of time as one of my jobs overseas. I was a consul in Indonesia, in Jakarta, and I spent a lot of my time, helping distressed Brits who were in trouble, who, we had murders, we had kidnappings, people lost on mountains, and all sorts of awful things happening. I spent a lot of time in the morgue and on forensics, and so I thought, well, this is what I'm going to write about, being a consul. So my consul, Jess Turner, is the diplomat. She's a British consul in Canberra, in the British High Commission in Canberra. And when a British businesswoman is murdered in a Queensland resort, she travels up to Brisbane to liaise with the police and help the victim's next of kin, who's her journalist sister, Susan. So so I've actually created an Australian detective as well.
Fantastic.
Queensland DI Tom Sangster.
That's fantastic. So you've left the Australian ingredient in there, which should appeal to our Australians. Tell me the type of people who will love reading this book. Who are you marketing it at?
Well, I'm marketing to people who actually love crime thrillers, political thrillers, and as well crime thrillers, because it is quite a traditional crime thriller. So people who love all that genre, I hope will like this book.
Now, you're obviously not involving any politicians, current or past, in this book, I'm assuming, not from Australia?
No.
That's a shame.
But I do actually, there are politicians in the book, but everything is fictional.
Where to from here?
It's fiction.
Are you writing another book after this one, or is this one, it's taken you, obviously, I've got the book in front of me, it's quite thick. How long did this one take you to write?
It took me about 2 years.
That's quite good.
It's quite hard to transfer from writing briefing, political reports and press briefings, etc., and to have to then to do creative writing.
Would you ever?
It took me a while, and I had a very.
Yep, I was going to say, would you ever think of putting it into a movie, maybe, from the book to the movie?
I'd love to put it into a movie. I hope that will come down the line, because this is a series, and each plot and each book is set in a different country, but it has the same characters running through it. And my Australian detective, everybody in the UK likes him so much that I've taken him through all my books. So my second one is set down in the Caribbean, and that's out next May. And my Australian detective is in that too, and I had to rack my brains a bit to think of how to get him over to the Caribbean in a British context as well, but I hope it works.
Well, don't look too far, Jean, because you've got your detective right here on screen. When you watch this interview on the net, you'll be able to see, I could be your James Bond. I could play your key detective in this book, and I could say the word deadly diplomacy 1,000,000 times to make sure I get the role when it happens.
fantastic in the role. Absolutely
you're a diplomat.
fantastic.
I don't believe you because I think you're just being diplomatic now. Thank you very much. Give us your website, Jean, if people want to get the book. What's your website?
It's www.jeanharrod.com.
Fantastic. Now
the book should be out in Australia in bookshops, and you can also get it ebook on Kindle, Kobo, and iTunes.
Well done. And you know what? It's a perfect gift for Christmas or any other occasion, but Christmas, New Year, the perfect read. It'll take you about 4 weeks. It's quite thick and a great read. Just finally, thank you very much for being on the show today. Thanks for making the time all the way from the UK. What's the time over there at the moment?
It's nearly 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning.
And what are you looking for? You're going to be there for Christmas, I'm assuming. What are you looking forward to? The Queen's message? Are you looking forward to seeing the Queen's message live on BBC?
Well, it is a traditional Christmas here in the UK, and that is part of it. 3 o'clock in the afternoon after Christmas lunch, everybody sits around the television to watch the Queen's speech. It's just a tradition, and I guess it'll keep going on and on as long as she does.
Thank you. And I believe the Queen loves the book as well. I've just heard in my earpiece. Thank you very much, Jean. She also wants to be starring opposite me, by the way, when we do the movie. I will keep her in mind. Thank you, Jean. Have yourself a wonderful Christmas if we don't talk before. Let us know about the new book. It's called Deadly Diplomacy. It is a diplomatic crime series. Jean Harrod is the author. Go to our website if you missed her details, thecouch.com.au. Thank you, Jean, for spending some time with us back here in Australia.
Thank you very much. Lovely to talk to you.
And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.